Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Cinema Chazzy, the segment on this channel where I review the movies that I watch and whatnot, blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure you guys know how it works at this point, right? But anyway, so given that I've been playing a lot of FIFA 20 lately and recording other, vlogs related to the sport of soccer or football, I'm pretty sure you guys saw this coming, a movie talking about this exact same sport, which is Goal, The Dream Begins. Now, this is a movie that was released way back in 2005 and in my opinion, it is very underrated. I think it deserved many more accolades than it got, even if at times it was a little bit subpar, It wasn't exactly the best sports movie in the world or anything, but I still think it's really underrated and I like it a lot. And a lot of you may not even know that this movie exists. It's actually a trilogy. There are 3 movies and the second one is pretty okay too. It's nice, and the third one literally sucks, so it's not even worth watching at all. But it follows the story of a poor soccer or football player named Santiago Munez, and he has a dream of playing in the big leagues. He has a dream of becoming a professional athlete, within the sport, as I also did when I was a youngster. And he's trying really hard. He plays for a local team that's really weak and doesn't get a lot of exposure, and he's trying to save up money so he can try to invest in himself and play in a bigger league, and he tries really hard. He has a lot of skill. He does have talent, but unfortunately, because he plays in a very small, impoverished area of Los Angeles, with other Hispanics, it's really hard for him to get noticed. But then one day everything changes because a scout, well, a former scout, right? He now works as a mechanic who used to play for Newcastle United in England. He actually sees Santiago, he scouts him, and he tries to get him a tryout for Newcastle back in England, Now, there are a lot of different layers to this movie, There's a lot of conflict, but I think that the character development, especially through Munez and his new trainer, is actually much more fleshed out than you normally would expect from a movie like this, Now, what I find most impressive is how accurately they depict the life of a professional footballer, because it shows you not just the dream and the beginning of them actually being seen by somebody who tries to make a difference in their lives, but it actually shows the journey there, because a lot of really big time athletes come from very impoverished upbringings, It's just like, it's almost like a trope, a cliche at this point, because nobody who is born privileged decides to pursue athletics, Normally it's somebody who comes from a very, very, humble upbringing, somebody who's very poor, So for lack of a better term. So it's interesting to see that, and then the evolution of him becoming a well-paid professional footballer, playing in the Premier League of all places. So, but of course there are a few difficulties like having to adapt to the English game, but that's something that you see as the movie goes on.
He's quite a player.
What's your name, son?
Santiago Muñez. If you get yourself to England, Newcastle United will give you a trial.
Now, because I am a big fan of soccer or football, the reason that I have already addressed this in another video, but I'm going to say this in here too. The reason that I call it both soccer and football is because my YouTube analytics show that I have subscribers both in Europe and the United States. So I'm trying to appeal to both of you without, having one of you come berate me in the comments later, complaining that I'm saying it wrong. So in every video, I'm going to call it soccer and or football, in the same sentence. So anyway, so here's the thing. Now, because I'm such a big fan of this sport in general, it was really good to see this movie because it showed me stuff that I didn't really think about, like similarly to when I watched Match Day inside FC Barcelona. It was the same thing. I was exposed to things that I normally wouldn't be exposed to, just watching the sport normally, and a few documentaries here and there. But this movie to me is really special because of this, because it shows you the journey from the player's perspective, It shows you the hardships, and this guy, Santiago Munez, he actually has asthma, and at one point another player who he doesn't get along with breaks his inhaler, so then it starts to show you that the club can and does always provide medical help for these conditions that a player might have, so it's good to see all of the bureaucracy and all of the, kind of like the game outside of the game, how it works, in the manager's office, signing contracts and negotiating offers, this and that, and having conversations with each other, with the players, of how they're going to be replaced or put on the bench or substituted, and it's a lot of emotion that happens in a sports game, guys, especially one on such a big scale as this. So it's really, really interesting to see the behind the scenes, and I thought it was really nice. Like I said, very underrated movie, but then again, if you're not a fan of the sport, then you're probably not going to like it too much. much, you know, but I still think it's really cool. I still think it's a really good movie, you know. And the second movie, in the first movie, Santiago, he signs for Newcastle. As the movie goes on, he does get his deal. He's given a 1-month trial to see how he can expand it and get on the team. He does start to eventually play better, and at the end, he actually advances to the UEFA Champions League, was it? I have a little cheat sheet here. Let me just check it, okay? I don't remember what happens at the very end, but spoiler alert, by the way. Yes, so he actually earns Newcastle a place in the next UEFA Champions League, which doesn't make sense because has Newcastle ever even gone to a Champions League? Yeah, they actually, a little detail that I want to bring up, they actually manipulate results that happen in real life to try to fit the narrative of the movie, you know? So for example, Newcastle played Liverpool, and in real life, Newcastle lost 2-1, but in the movie, they make it so Newcastle wins 3-2. You know, they create goals that didn't happen, passes that weren't there, you know. They actually do this across all 3 movies. They make it like, they manipulate the results in a way that's going to make the protagonists come out on top, you know. Which is okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but still, it would have. I think I actually would have liked it better if you left the results the way they were and just showed the players, the protagonists trying to adapt, you know, trying to play and do their stuff and this and that. But anyway, it's okay. The second movie was cool because he actually goes to Real Madrid. He plays with the Galacticos, you know. But that's a story for another day. I can't get off topic. Gotta talk about the first movie.
Now, for his family,
You deserve this chance, Santiago. Take it.
he'll pursue a dream 6,000 miles from home.
I have a tryout for Newcastle United.
You want to lay off the black pudding?
What is it exactly?
You don't want to know.
So, character dynamics. Santiago has a very strained relationship with his father. You know, he actually lives with his father, his younger brother, and his grandmother, I believe. So then, there's kind of like a very, how can I say? There's a very tense atmosphere within the household, you know, because everybody is impoverished, everybody is poor, there's very little money to go around, you know, and Santiago is trying to help his father work his own business, and also he works at a Chinese restaurant to make money, you know. Then as he's trying to save up money, you know, to go invest in his professional career, his father finds his money stashed away and uses it to buy a truck, you know, to invest in the business, you know, which I think is really shady. Like, if my father did that to me, I would hate him for the rest of my life, because like, what kind of a douchebag father steals money from his own son, you know? Even if you and the family desperately need it, I mean, there's a reason your son is probably putting away that money. Maybe it even is to help you, you know? But I don't know. I just think it was a really shady moment. But of course, he does get a big break because his grandmother sells some of her jewelry, you know, sells some stuff so she can give him the money so he can invest in his dreams, you know, which is a very sweet moment. And then later on, once he's playing for Newcastle, his dad actually goes to a bar and sees his son playing, and he watches the game, he gets really into it, he starts cheering, he's really proud of him, you know. But unfortunately, he later dies of a heart attack while Santiago was still in England, you know, so he does find out, and it kind of affects his playing style. He almost goes home, you know, but he actually decides to stay to train and play for the team. Now, there is one more detail here that I want to cover, is that he actually starts dating one of the nurses in the club, whose name is, I think it was Roz. Let me check my cheat sheet here, guys. Yes, Roz Harmison, who's played by Anna Friel, a very attractive woman, by the way, a very pretty actress. And it's actually funny because their relationship gets off to a pretty rocky start, you know, because she's trying to help him, you know, get him back to health, you know. But then, of course, it's now that my dad is calling me, always when I'm recording videos. But anyway, so here's the thing. Like I was saying, Santiago Munez starts dating the nurse, you know, and then their relationship is a little rocky at first. I do believe there's a scene where they actually meet up outside of a club, and he's trying to get in, and she kind of lets him or something, you know. But anyway, one thing leads to another, and they start actually having a little romance between them, you know, and it's actually very touching. It's nice, even though it is a little anti-professional, because I mean, you're an athlete playing for a club and you're dating a nurse, you know. I mean, that's like you're dating a coworker, and it's a little dangerous, you know. But anyway, there actually was a scandal some time ago about this nurse, one of the nurses in Chelsea Football Club, my English club actually. And oh, by the way, today I forgot to say this at the beginning of the video, I'm actually wearing my Milan jersey, you know, my AC Milan jersey, my Italian club. It has nothing at all to do with the movie, but because I already wore my Chelsea jersey for my Premier League video, which made more sense, you know, I just wanted to wear something a little different this time. But anyway, so back some time ago in Chelsea, there was a scandal where a nurse was getting with the players, but she was apparently abusing them or doing something else that I forgot completely. But it was a pretty big thing. It was a pretty pretty shocking reveal. But anyway, so back to the movie. I think that there are a lot of different layers that are very expertly crafted, you know, because it shows you the sports side of it, you know. It shows you what it's like during a game, before and after one as well, and inside the locker rooms, how the players communicate with each other, how they interact, you know, in a much more bigger scale than a regular documentary, because they actually flesh out a story now, you know, even though it's of a character that doesn't exist. So is somebody strangling a chicken outside? What the hell is that? But anyway, so I think that I'm gonna try again to get this review out. I honestly think that the movie was really, really well done. Like I said before, very underrated. There were a few elements that were cringy, like whenever they were playing a match and they were trying to manipulate the results, you can tell that the CGI was a little bit off, you know, because this is a FIFA endorsed product, so of course they actually used real players, you know, real footage from games and all of that, you know, but I mean, it's still, they actually used, I do believe real players actually did show up, you know, with cameos and all of that, you know, especially in the sequel. But the thing is that they used a lot of stock footage from matches to try and implement them and use, and put the actors in there with CGI. And that's when it got cringy. In the second movie, it was even worse because, like I said before, they manipulate the results in the matches, you know. They make goals happen that didn't happen in real life. So it starts to get very weird because you can tell that the CGI is very blatant and obvious, you know, like when they make one of the main characters, the actors, take a free kick and make the ball go inside, you know. It's just really hard to watch sometimes. So it's not a flawless movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it is still pretty entertaining. I thought it was really cool, you know, and I think that the way that they illustrate, the way that the narrators, the commentators, you know, talk about Muniz coming in, you know, so I just think that it gets much, it doesn't get the enough love that it deserves, you know. I think it's a really good movie, my personal opinion. I think it's actually one of the best sports movies I've ever seen, you know, and yeah, it's nice, man.
Maybe you don't have the stamina for the English game.
Adios, amigo. I'll be better tomorrow, I promise.
It's not gonna be a tomorrow, Santiago.
I can't remember too much of the soundtrack, you know, how the music was, but I'm pretty sure it was scored pretty okay, because if the music had sucked, it probably would have stuck out in my mind, you know, but I don't think it did. I think it's actually really cool. Now, I don't know if this movie is available on Netflix, you know, because some time ago I tried to look for it so I could watch it again because I love it. I don't know, but if it ever does come to Netflix, you guys should definitely watch it, you know. Even if you're not a fan of the sport, you should go and watch it anyway, man, because there's a really good story under it, you know. It's not just about the sports side. There is a really, really humane story, you know. There's romance, there's drama, there's a little bit of comic relief, you know, with some of the characters. So I honestly think it's really cool. Yeah, Santiago makes friends in the clubs. In the club, he makes enemies, you know. He tries really hard to get ahead. So, and like I said before, in the sequel, it earns him it earns him a move to Real Madrid, you know. I really wish I could talk about the sequel too, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself, you know. But anyway, that's it, guys. You know, I think that's all I wanted to say. You know, I think it's a really good movie. Everybody was well cast, you know. I don't have anything to complain about in terms of that. You know, everybody acted really well, especially even the kid who played his little brother. And then, now it was nice to get this video out to talk about this movie, you know, because I'm in the midst of recording a lot of football or soccer related content, similarly to how I recorded a review about Coach Carter back when I was playing NBA Live 19, you know. So it all goes hand in hand, you know. Everything on my channel is perfectly aligned, you know, to match everything else, you know. There's always a specific order that you guys may not see, but is always there, you know. Everything fits perfectly. But anyway, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you have, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I don't know if I was able to get clips, you know, of the movie to insert in here like I always do, because I don't know how this movie's gonna work, and sometimes there's copyright crap, so I can't really, you know, do it my way. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the review anyway, because remember, the main takeaway here, the main aspect is me talking about the movie and TV show in question. So, you know, even if there are no clips, I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. But that's it. So, in case you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, because I post videos literally every single day of the week and also the weekend. So every single day of the 7-day week, you have new videos coming out here in my channel. Sometimes 1 video per day, sometimes 2 per day, and at random times, you know, at random intervals. So that's why you gotta hit the notification bell to know exactly when they're gonna be coming out, okay? And that's it for now. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
From Touchstone Pictures,
It is now quite a day for this young man.
one man's extraordinary journey
That's my son. That's my boy, Santiago.
is about to begin. Kuno Becker. Goal. The dream begins this spring.